All right. Hello and welcome to the Holo Herald Podcast. This is episode 9, I believe. I actually got it really wrong last week. I kept saying it was episode 7. It was actually episode 8. So this week we're at episode 9. We're almost to our 10th. So we can hit that milestone. Maybe we'll do something special for it. Stay tuned. We are streaming live from our usual location. And it's 8 o'clock on a Monday, which is right about when we'll be streaming every other night. So if you guys want to join us for the live podcast, if you're listening to the pre-recorded version, just come on here Monday nights. We'll be live. You guys can come hit us up with questions. You can join us, ask us anything, or we can ask you guys anything. Have a little fun dialogue. But if you're listening to the pre-recorded version, we're glad to have you. We're glad to have you here listening. And I guess we're going to go ahead and get right into it. Today, I'm joined by two guests. Go ahead and introduce yourselves, boys.
Well, it's Austin here again for another episode of the Holo Herald Podcast. Excited for the interesting articles we have prepared to discuss, and hopefully we'll have some good conversation with you guys out there as well. And yeah, I'm ready.
And we got one other fellow with us. Go ahead.
It's me again, Alex here. And I'm just excited to be able to keep doing this with you guys every week. I've got some pretty cool articles and a lot of fun stuff to talk about, and I'm looking forward to it.
All right, so I think last week we had Paul and everybody else on. What did we talk about last week? We talked about, I don't remember. Where's the thumbnail for it? Let me see.
You guys talked about, you guys hated on Magic Leap for quite a while. And
yeah.
And how they had celebrities try it out, and what was the recent development in that?
Oh, that's good. We should probably. That's a great idea. We should actually update everybody. I don't remember the link where it is. Austin, if you want to go ahead and throw that link up in the chat, it'd be awesome so everybody can see what we're talking about. So it appears that we got a couple more details on the happenings of Magic Leap. So if you guys weren't here last week or didn't get caught up, Magic Leap actually sent out their device to a bunch of famous people, a bunch of celebrities, to see what they thought and to hand it out. And, and these are actually some of the only people that have laid their eyes or seen the Magic Leap or got to test it or anything. These are some of the very, very first people. So, we discussed a little bit, and our general consensus was this is kind of a joke, to be honest. You have this incredible, awesome tech, and you're only showing it to a handful of non-tech people that could honestly care less about the existence of mixed reality or anything. Their lives are perfect how it is, so it doesn't really matter if this comes in there. And they've got bigger fish to fry and bigger problems to worry about, so why would they even consider this? I don't know. It just seems, in my opinion, it just seems like a bad marketing stunt overall. And it actually turns out that it kind of backfired on them a little bit. Ricky Gervais posted, what did he say? Alex, what did he say?
He tweeted kind of a question aimed at Magic Leap and asked, at Magic Leap, are you ready to revolutionize the world? Which really doesn't describe or explain much. He just obviously thought it was pretty dang cool.
Yeah, so he was really pumped for it, but he also showed it to Beyonce, and it actually seems like Beyonce was not very enthused. I can't find the quote for her. Thanks. Paul just posted the link in the chat if you guys are watching that. We'll post it in a link dump for the pre-recorded versions. If you guys just Google Beyonce Magic Leap, it'll come up also. So it says, her quote says, according to former employees, Beyonce received a personalized Magic Leap demo and was bored by it. So I guess she doesn't have a quote straight from it, but it shows right there that she was bored by it. And I don't think this is a crap on Magic Leap. I think this is just a crap on their choice of people to demo it to. Wouldn't you guys think?
Oh yeah, definitely. You think they could have showed it to at least someone who was in the MR virtual reality field that was actually into that stuff and understood what it means and the time and the effort and the money that has been placed into making such a device, rather than someone who's just gonna see it and not really understand what's going on and then just be like, oh, that's cool, but not that cool,
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't agree more, because Beyonce must see the coolest things in the world. Been everywhere, done everything. She plays in front of, so many people. I mean, so a little Magic Leap demo is going to be a blip on her radar, to be honest, and it's like, imagine if someone went up to Beyonce a couple years ago and handed her an iPhone 1, it's like you have no perspective of how it's going to change the world because that's not their realm. That's not their expertise. They don't really care. And so I don't think this is a crap on, it kind of is a crap on Magic Leap, but
I think it was, oh, sorry, Alex, go ahead.
No, you're good. Just real quick, I want to say, I kind of think it's a little bit dangerous for Magic Leap to have someone like Beyonce say this about their product, because a lot of people know Beyonce. A lot of people, listen to her music and really like hearing what she has to say. So I feel like Beyonce coming out and saying, well, not Beyonce coming out and saying, but having this article say Beyonce was bored, people are going to take that very, very seriously.
Especially if Magic Leap is going for the direction they're going with the regular public, not like business applications. Like, I think that is a very dangerous move of Magic Leap, and I don't know. I'm interested to see what's going to happen in the next couple of months with it.
We are. So actually, if you guys go ahead and read this article, there's a quote specifically that says that the CEO of Magic Leap, Ronnie Lovitz, I don't know how to say that, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but Ronnie Lovitz was fond of giving demonstrations to celebrities. Now, I don't know about you guys, but that's very worrisome to me. The fact that he's this kind of, Ronnie's out there to get recognition and to get friends up at high places and gain clout rather than build an awesome product and show people that are important to the scene. And I don't know, their marketing could have they could be trying to do a range of different things that we can't even conceive of. But just from a user's perspective, as a person that's reading it, I would love to hear that Ronnie loves giving demonstrations to people that have never experienced Magic Leap, but are just like everyday people. And I know that's not going to be very good for the company, or maybe giving it to wired people, or, people that are HoloLens, or people like us, I'm not saying we're going to get a Magic Leap demo, but, or people like us that are in the scene and we kind of care about it. We understand what's going on, and we can enjoy it more. I don't know. So for that reason, if I was an investor and I saw that, I'd be very worried that Ronnie's just trying to gain clout with this and just trying to get friends up in high places. And I mean, that's got to be a big hit to the face to invite Beyonce over and her not be impressed with it. I don't know. You put all that effort in, and yep. I don't know. So it's just a little bit of an update.
Yep, that's our weekly Magic Leap rant for y'all.
Magic Leap update, yeah.
Come on, just show us something Magic Leap. That's all we want.
Right? Come on, Magic Leap, please.
We're just begging them. I know, it's like, freaking Beyonce. I want to see it, not Beyonce. Never mind. Okay. But all right, so I think we also have some other news articles to cover. I think we'll try to go chronological order, so I'll start with one. So did you guys look at the Facebook keynote last week? I think it was. This might have been just around when the podcast aired last week, so it might be a little bit dated. But did you guys see the Facebook keynote that happened recently?
No, I didn't get a chance to see it. What's it all about?
So let's say, it's the keynote. It's where they come out and they release their objectives for the year and their cool new technologies and stuff. And one of their big platforms is AR. Like, that was one of their biggest pushes for this year's keynote, was for augmented reality. And not augmented reality headsets, but they said the first augmented reality platform through the camera, which is absurd to say that, to say the least, because everything they're doing is just a copy of Snapchat. No offense to, I don't know if you guys are Facebook lovers or anything like that, but I mean, it's essentially what they're touting as like the coolest augmented reality experience is a recreation of Snapchat. And so in Snapchat, when you open it up, you can hold on your face and it does some little facial tracking and puts a dog over your face or whatever. It's quite simple AR, but it's a really great way to explain AR to people that have never tried it before or anything, or their people's first taste of AR is probably something along the lines of Snapchat. So first off, I'll just start. Do either of you guys use Snapchat at all?
I did a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Alex, I don't personally use it, no.
So, I mean, I have it downloaded. It's not like a super big app, but you guys know exactly what it is. And all the users know what it is. But it's actually probably one of the coolest features that Snapchat has, is that ability to be able to to do that. And I think this is kind of scary. I'll ask you guys' opinions on it, but at least my opinion on the idea is everybody's going to get in the AR game. Everybody's going to start heading that route, or the mixed reality route, or some form. But I think it bothers me that Facebook, this huge behemoth, this huge giant, is coming in and attacking Snapchat. And now Snapchat has a very big market share, and they have a big social platform, but Snapchat has done nothing to attack Facebook, inherently. They've never come in and, tried to create something to compete directly with Facebook or something like that. It's just the same genre of social media. And I think it's really scary to have a big company like Facebook come in and just blatantly rip off Snapchat. What do you guys think?
Yeah, definitely. Like, that's Zuckerberg for you, I guess.
Exactly. I asked Paul, and Paul's like, he's just salty because he tried to buy Snapchat like 3 times, and they turned him down all 3 times. I don't know. It's just a scary place to be.
So is there like some legal issues with this? Like, is Snapchat gonna be like, whoa, you're totally ripping us off, or are they just gonna let the big guy take him down? Or
depends on what they have patented. I mean, the things that. Who knows? Facebook could have a patent that maybe that Snapchat's breaking, or, it's all about who's got what, and honestly, to be fighting Facebook in anything would just be a mess in general. But I mean, Snapchat's a decently sized company. I don't think they have much standing ground. I don't think it's a long lasting company, but I mean, there's so many genius minds. Some of the most genius developers and the most genius engineers work at Facebook, and some of the most brightest minds work at Facebook, but yet they're just copying Snapchat. I don't know. It's just kind of like, come on, Facebook, And I read an interesting article that says that is a really dangerous time where companies like these giant companies like Google and Facebook and Microsoft, even to an extent, can come in and just wipe out smaller companies. Because, I mean, if it's a startup and you're doing something cool, imagine if they came into Snapchat before Snapchat got big and just they didn't buy them or anything. They just took the idea and wiped it out. And they could churn out an app like Snapchat in 3 days, whereas it would take some Snapchat 3 months to a few years to build an app and to get it to standing ground. I don't know. This guy's scary. What do you think, Alex?
Yeah, it's kind of an unfair advantage that Facebook has. They have all this money, they have all these resources, and it's very easy for them just to, hey, let's do this, and then do it. Whereas exactly like you said with like Snapchat, there's a lot of planning, there's a lot of, resource management. They have to know like what they're getting themselves into for them to get something good out, which is respectable for what they've done so far as the underdogs.
Yeah, definitely. And I think this is kind of like Snapchat just went, they just opened on the stock market, so they just had their IPO, and I think this is Facebook's retaliation a little bit to be like, hey, you're a big player, but you're not that big of a player, especially with Instagram and stuff. Because I could see Snapchat kind of attacking some of their entities more, maybe like Instagram, and I don't know. Oh, it's Twitter that owns Periscope, so I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how it pans out for Facebook, because there's not a very good history of, I don't know, Bing's a great example. Bing's a great example of Yahoo came in and created their search engine, and it was basically crap. It was worthless. And then Google came in and did it awesome. You know what I mean? Because you got to know there was some apps like Snapchat before Snapchat. So that was basically the Yahoo of Snapchat. And then Google came in, and that's like Snapchat. And they did awesome, and they created this platform that everybody loves, and they're all using it, and it's great. Oh, yeah. That we're not still using Yahoo?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Could you have imagined? I heard like the switch from the Yahoo algorithm to the Google algorithm was like completely revolutionary for the internet. It was like the changing moment of the internet, when it's like you have all this information and you could finally archive it. I mean, could you imagine having to use Yahoo to find? Oh my gosh, Google's incredible. We're Google fanboys beyond belief. But going back to the original conversation before we get too out of Google. And then Bing came along. Microsoft was like, "Hey, we want to get in on this search engine game." And Bing's good. They do cool things. They have Bing Maps. They actually have a really decent search engine, and they have all this awesome stuff. Okay, but everybody's using Google. Nobody's gonna switch away from Google. Nobody's gonna do this. What? If Bing went away right now, I think they only have like less than 10% market share, and that's just because less than 10% of people use Internet Explorer, and so they're old and they just don't. I don't know. I don't know why they have it, but I wonder if that's going to happen to Facebook. Do you think that's what's going to happen to Facebook's version of Snapchat?
It very well could, because it's almost comparable to the Amazon Fire Phone. Just like Amazon came out and saw this, hey, people are buying a lot of smartphones. But Apple and all the Galaxy phones already had a pretty big foothold in the industry. So the Fire Phone just kind of came and went. So
oh yeah, I totally forgot about that, the Fire Phone. Yeah. So I think it's just interesting. So it'll be fun to watch and see how people adopt the Facebook, because so many people are on Facebook's platform that, it's hard for you not to use Facebook stuff. And it's actually interesting. So if you deactivate your Facebook account and then you try to log into a website that you've used with your Facebook, it goes in and it automatically reactivates your account. I don't know. Facebook's just kind of got this hold on people's lives that's like this tangle grip that you cannot escape from nowadays. It's pretty insane. So, what's some of the articles you guys had? Sorry.
Well, one of the articles I'm pulling this from, it's HoloLens Reality News, Next Reality. It's a wish list of Windows mixed reality features that could change everything for the HoloLens. So the article, it just goes through several points that would make the HoloLens like the device, the best mixed reality device out there, and it makes some very interesting points. I guess Paul, if you could post the article in the chat. But one of them is that I would like to cover is better spatial mapping tools. With your use of the HoloLens, how do you view the spatial mapping on the HoloLens?
Oh, the spatial mapping's phenomenal. It's not like real time, like some people expect it to be real time when they put it on, like if they open and close a door. But a great example of how the spatial mapping work is on our Breaking Reality putting a hologram in a fridge video. If you guys haven't checked that out, you can go check it out. But basically what we did is we put a hologram in a fridge, and it's pretty snappy. You close the door and you tap once and the hologram's behind it. You open the door, you tap once, and it's back. So I think it's really great.
I honestly think you just have to understand what it's doing and understand the process, and then you shouldn't have any big interruptions between in your immersive experience with the HoloLens. But that seems to be a lot of people's beef with the HoloLens is the spatial mapping and how it's not live and stuff like that. But if we could get better spatial mapping, I'm all for it, right?
Yeah, like real time. But it's quite snappy. And the way it does is it uses your Wi-Fi address and it just remembers the space. So as long as your space isn't changing a lot, it should be really highly detailed and always there. It's only when you start having people move, even people moving around in the space doesn't really affect it. It's only when you're opening and closing doors and lights are off in certain places. But yeah, continue on. Yeah,
and so he explains how he would like to see 3D notifications in the HoloLens. So I don't know, is that synced with your calendar or whatever, and while you're using that HoloLens, it just pops up a notification for you? Is that a feature on the HoloLens?
I don't know. What does he mean by that? Sorry, I'm looking at this article. I'm trying to see where he's talking about that. 3D notifications. I believe this one falls under the 3D widgets category. But having an area in a spatial map for notifications that can make it easier to build up usage habits for the HoloLens enthusiast, developers, or general user. So is this something to do with the HoloLens, or are these just apps that he wants developed?
I think they're some stuff that's built into the HoloLens or something.
Oh. Yeah, well, I could see an app that could fulfill that purpose quite quickly, but yeah, okay, what's one of the other ones? Better spatial mapping tools?
We just
talked about that. What's some of the other ones on the list, Austin?
There's multiple desktops. In a world that your entire home or office is now your desktop, the ability to switch modes seems like a very useful ability. As someone that works from the home most of the time, even more so the jack of all trades type, I would definitely benefit from this idea. I use many different types of software depending on what my project is, and I would love to change modes based on my needs without having to move all my holograms around.
Oh, so kind of some preset areas, I guess is what he's saying.
Yeah.
So That's a good idea. Actually, I could totally see that totally fitting in. I could see another app doing it though, maybe rather than the HoloLens. But like, okay, you could see have like your entertainment mode or your work mode. So
I guess what he's trying to say is like, it's your virtual reality items, but they're like solidified into your reality, pretty much.
Yeah. So like, I think what he means is like, so let's say I want to play Xbox on my HoloLens. I would have to go and grab the hologram and set it all up and do that. And then I would want to switch to work really quickly, which has like a bunch of monitors everywhere. I'd have to bring up all the monitors and bring them all out. I guess what he wants is be like a saved area. It's a really good idea, actually. That you could just easily say, I'm not going to say it out loud, but hey, AI name, bring in my office space. And then she just pops in all your holograms that have to do with your office. That's a really good idea, actually.
Be a really cool idea. I like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I actually never really thought of that. That's super interesting.
Better interpretality between XAML and Direct 3D. The locking of holograms to real-world objects. Technically speaking, this is one above my head. I can see image recognition systems that exist that could do this while an object was in view. A image-certain device could still... Okay, so he wants to like have a ball, and you could lock a hologram onto that ball and then roll the ball. That would be cool, too. And I could see it totally happening. You already kind of see it with in fragments, kind of like she recognizes certain device. Like if there's a chair in your room, the AI will go over and sit in the chair, or if there's a wall, she'll lean against the wall. So I can kind of see like a general idea of it. That'd be a cool.
Yeah,
this is a cool article.
So most of the items on this wish list, like they're kind of like almost there with the HoloLens, but I think he's right where they just need to be perfected and just polished a bit, and then it will just be like a really seamless, intuitive device that would... So I could totally see all this stuff in the next edition of the HoloLens.
What's good about this is most of this stuff is all software related.
I know, right?
None of this really has much to do with the hardware at all. You know, he's not saying battery life. He's not saying overheating or FOV. Like FOV is not even mentioned.
I know.
This. I think this guy. This is a great article. I think he kind of understands the idea between it. We get a lot of people that were reading their articles are just crapping on the HoloLens about FOV or it heats up a little bit or how heavy it is. And I think that's a very narrow-minded mindset. I think this is an article that perfectly explains the needs of the HoloLens user or the mixed reality experience. Very interesting. Mm-hmm. So that's a great article. What about you, Alex? I know you had some cool stuff to share with us.
Yeah, so I found something recently, this morning actually, kind of talking about some shenanigans that Uber has been getting into.
Uber shenanigans? Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, what's up? Tell me about it. I've totally missed out on all this.
To the max. So, the article that I have here has kind of talks a lot about a lot of different issues, just like HR issues or sexual assault issues. But the biggest one has to do with software. And it talks about how Uber was using this unique hardware data, was collecting unique hardware data about every iPhone that it was installed on, that the Uber app was installed on, and they would do that to basically track iPhones, whether or not the app was on there or if it had been deleted.
So how the heck did they get this past Apple's policy with?
They made it so it would only track iPhones that were not at Apple's headquarters. So basically any Apple official his iPhone would not be tracked. His or her iPhone would not be tracked. And they were able to get away with this for quite some time until some off-campus, so to speak, technicians and programmers kind of figured out, hey, something's fishy going on.
That's really fishy.
Yeah. So Tim Cook actually called the CEO, Uber CEO in and had a not even a meeting, just kind of yelled at him for a couple of hours saying...
So shiz went down? Was there a fist fight?
No, but he said Tim Cook told Kalanick to end this practice or the Apple would be taking the Uber app off of the App Store.
That's awesome. for all the crap we give iPhone and Apple, they're very security minded. They respect your bounds and they respect your security purposes and your privacy. So we give iPhone and Apple a lot of crap, but that is one thing they always kind of have the user's best interest in mind. Now with with tech specs and stuff like that, it's a completely different story and limiting your experience. But there's more to be said about that. That's interesting. So, has Uber made a press announcement saying anything about if they're gonna knock it off or what's gonna happen?
The article doesn't specify. It just kind of goes on to talk about just a lot of different issues and how this has kind of been the norm for this CEO Kalanick to kind of engage in shady and flat out breaking the law in some cases to move Uber forward.
Does the article specify what hardware data they were collecting?
Yeah, location data from every iPhone. But not every iPhone, but the thing that really surprised me was that Uber could get this data whether or not the Uber application had been deleted. So let's say like I'd been an Uber user, and I'd been using Uber for quite some time, and then I deleted it from my iPhone. Uber could still track my location.
Interesting.
Yeah, which is kind of scary that they're able to do that, because I don't have the app. Supposedly it's deleted. Supposedly I've cut ties, but no, they've been able to collect this data for who knows how long.
It's kind of freaky. Like Joseph just mentioned something in our comments that we'll talk about in a bit that's also a little bit freaky, but it's kind of freaky, these things that you agree with in the terms of use that you sometimes don't realize you're agreeing with, and even the way they word things, maybe you're agreeing with it. Like I think the one I always think of is offline mode for things. Like I think that's a very sneaky way to say they're downloading it to your device, but you're not getting access to it throughout other than through their app. Like I was going hiking with my girlfriend just recently, and she has all of her Spotify. Like we are a really big mini SD card, so she could download all of her Spotify music, so we could always have it no matter where we were. But she pulled out the mini SD card to record something on it and something else, and she put it back in, and we went to go hiking, and lo and behold, none of her songs were there. Well, because they got removed, because she technically doesn't have them, even though they're offline. Right when you pull out that SD card, they're going to wipe that memory so you don't convert it right over to your computer. I think it's kind of I think apps, we've seen it. Uber just kind of did the same thing. You download it, and then even when you delete it, they still have access to your information. It's kind of this subliminal thing, and you probably agreed to that somewhere in their terms of service. But I don't know. It's sneaky. What do you guys think about apps? Kind of not hiding things from you, but kind of delivering them in a sneaky way.
I guess the rule of thumb, if you don't have anything to hide, or I don't know, should I be that worried if Uber's tracking my location? Like, are they gonna? The only worry I would have is like if they got hacked or something and that information got in the wrong hands. But I don't know. Do I trust Uber? Are they the wrong hands? It's just
yeah. I kind of agree with you that location. Just it's kind of a big deal, but the fact that they can do it with the app deleted, like the app supposedly not on your phone, and they can still get that kind of data. What other people can grab other data from my phone. Right. Like just simply that easy.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of like that underlying practice of not giving the full story to the user. Right. It's kind of like you're doing it, but at the same time, it's like I don't know. It's an interesting dilemma. I think we're going to see that a lot more, especially with mixed reality devices and more wearable tech. I think we're going to see those kind of bounds of privacy and security and sneakiness and shenanigans, kind of getting all mixed up together. So I think I'll go ahead and I'll share one of my articles too. So have you guys looked up the occipital bridge? Did you guys see that I posted in Slack?
No.
You did not. So I just posted it in the chat, so you guys can go find it in Slack, or you guys can find it in the chat. So this is a new device. And now this is very interesting for us, because this is something we've talked a lot about. And actually, so this is a good time to switch gears really quickly and talk about the... we'll get there in a second. So this is a device that you just plug your phone in. So you know those VR headsets, right? Where you just put your phone in and it just like clips right in and you have a VR experience with your phone, right? You guys have seen that? Yeah. So this is basically that, but it's a mixed augmented reality version of that, where it uses a camera and it uses your phone's camera, and it uses sensors and stuff, and basically gives you a mixed reality experience with your phone. So this is something we've discussed a lot. And not the bridge specifically, but the idea behind it, that there's going to be this good enough experience, this dumbed down, cheaped down experience of MR, and it could either be a good thing or a bad thing. What do you guys think of this device? And maybe not the device necessarily itself, but the approach that this device is taking at MR.
Well, it's definitely a cheaper HoloLens. What do you know? What development it uses?
No, I think they have their own API and stuff, their own SDK that anybody can develop. Oh, so they're using Unity and SceneKit. So so it's kind of similar to what the HoloLens runs off of.
Cool. I think it's awesome. Like, it's cheaper MR for people who are interested in it and can afford something like this, and it uses your phone, but it's only for iPhones. Is that correct?
I think so far it's only for iPhones.
Okay. Yeah, but definitely would be an interesting device to try out. Does it have its own app store, or is it like through Apple Store? Sorry, I'm asking a lot of questions.
No, that's totally good. We could totally fill that in. So it looks like interesting. They have a little slider. Looks like it also does VR, so like a standard VR device. And it looks very, very similar to, like, they have this little GIF playing, and it looks very, very similar to a standard VR phone device, like a Samsung VR device. It looks very similar to a Samsung VR device, and it's got a little sensor that clips on top of the headset and a wire that connects your phone to the sensors. And you probably download their app, and then I'm going to assume that there's applications through their app. That's what I'm going to assume. I don't know yet, though. It's new. It's fairly new. So it works on iPhone 6s, iPhone 7s, only runs on iOS 9. It's got really good resolution. Well, it's got the resolution of your phone, obviously. 60 frames per second. Takes about 10 milliseconds to scan your area.
Really?
Uses a really good lens. So... And the big question everybody's wondering is, how much does it cost? It'll run you about $400. All right, so let's talk about that.
Unless I want the T-shirt with it, right?
No, unless you want a T-shirt, then it's going to go ahead and run you $500.
Oh, okay.
Also comes with a clicker, like something looks very similar to a HoloLens clicker, for if you guys haven't seen it. So it's called the occipital bridge, if you guys hear us talk about it. So, Alex, so I come up to you, and I say, hey, there's this HoloLens experience. It cost $3,000. Or there's this, and we all know what this answer is going to be to this. Or there's this experience very similar to it, and it costs $400 and your phone, the newest iPhone. Which one are you going to get?
Well, obviously the iPhone one, because it's, a lot cheaper and much easier to get. I really like this idea just because it's kind of a route they're trying to take to make MR just kind of more of a household luxury or a household item. You know what I'm saying?
And Alex, you can have Uber tracking your data.
Oh yeah, at the same time.
Yeah.
on your head, it knows what you're looking at. What you're looking at. So
they're probably using that to map my house.
Oh, this is a whole other topic for another day, Alex. Let's not open that can of worms.
Okay.
So you're going to take this experience. Okay, so let's say I come up to you and I say, okay, there's this $800 Vive experience, which you're going to have to plug it into your computer, or there's this $15, $20 VR experience that you use your phone for. Which one are you going to take?
Honestly, I'd have to think about that more, because obviously if it's $15 to $20, it's not going to be quite as incredible as the $800 Vive,
And so it's the same thing that's going to happen with this, because this is $400, you're basically paying $400 for some software, and a sensor and a box to plug your phone in. That's basically what you're paying for. You're still using your phone for the bulk of processing and the bulk of everything. Now, I agree with you guys. This is cool. It's cool to see this technology being brought to this table. But from what I've seen, in my opinion, I think the biggest detriment to VR was the fact that you could just use your phone for VR. I think that is one of the biggest reasons it didn't take off, because people saw this thing like a Vive or an Oculus that you had to get on a waiting list and that was hard to get, and they'd never tried it before. Or you could download an app and buy this thing at Walmart, and they got their VR niche out of the way and they're ready to move on. Look, we have one right next to us. How many times have we used it, Austin?
0
we have
times.
One in our office. We've used it 0 times because it didn't work that well. And it's kind of ruined that VR experience for us, hasn't it?
Yeah, like if I wasn't like with the Holo Herald or whatever and I bought that and it didn't work, I'd be like, well, VR's stupid.
Exactly. So I think just to play devil's advocate, I think technology like this can be very dangerous to the mixed reality experience. Now, this looks like a very, very high quality version, and I mean, it's got really nice everything. This just looks really high quality. So I'm not saying this specifically, but this genre of wearable tech using your phone for more than just a phone devices, you know what I mean, can be dangerous to MR, because let's say this goes the route, you could buy one of these, the sensors become really cheap and the app's free, and you can buy one of these for $50 and people are trying this MR experience. What's going to egg them on to try a HoloLens experience? And I've never tried this before, so I don't know. But what are you guys' thoughts?
Personally, from an aesthetic view, I think the HoloLens is the best looking headset by so far. All the other headsets I've seen that use your phone or don't use your phone, they just look bulky and just not really supposed to be there. But the HoloLens kind of looks natural, if I could even say that. But I think it just looks the best aesthetically. That's a point.
Yeah. I agree. Looking at this occipital bridge thing, it looks an awful lot like something out of like Splinter Cell or something like that. Like some super.
It really does. With the lens up in the top corner, it really does.
Yeah. And like with the HoloLens, it's I don't know, just like Austin says, it just feels more normal, more natural. It's not bulky. It's a teensy bit heavy. However, it just feels more streamlined.
Yeah, definitely. Like, it doesn't look like a VR. Like the occipital kind of looks like a classic VR thing. They have a cool thing on their site. If you guys want to go to it, it's called bridge.occipital.com, or just Google iPhone AR experience. It's basically the same thing. If you guys scroll down, they have a mixed reality and a virtual. You just like do a little click over. Like it shows you the differences between mixed and virtual reality, which is really cool because
they explained it.
Yeah, they explained
That's
it
awesome.
correct. So you can kind of see the experience that you're getting. This is something we should maybe. I don't know anybody that has an iPhone 6. I'm sure we can find somebody. We should try to get our hands on one, maybe just a test kit or something. See if we can get one into the office and try one out. Because I'm really curious to see what the experience is like. So maybe we'll see if we can reach out to these guys and see if we can grab a little test device or something and try it out. So that's awesome. So moving on, just something to look forward to. I think we're going to see a lot more of these devices, don't you guys think?
Oh yeah.
I think this kind of this cheaper, toned down market. So okay, what about this? So I come to you guys and I say, here's a $400 device for you. Put your phone in it, and it's got the sensors. And you know it's mobile. You can walk around, do whatever. It just works right there, right? Well, I presume it's mobile. At least from any of the pictures, I don't see a cable, so it's mobile. Or I can give you a $300 device that does the same thing, but you plug it into your computer and you don't use your phone. It's a complete solid MR VR experience. Which one are you guys going to go for?
I like the cableless headsets. I don't like a big cable coming out of my headset and being bound to that. I like being able to walk around the office and have my MR experience wherever I go.
Yeah, I agree with Austin because, having a tethered device, obviously you have a better resolution, probably faster processing power because you're hooked up to a computer rather than a mobile device. However, having something tethered can also be a big setback. I remember, for example, while we were live streaming, we had that enormous USB extension cord to plug into the HoloLens to give it longer life. And I don't know, just it was very long, granted, and I could still walk around most of the office. However, it was still a teensy bit restrictive.
Yeah, you unplugged it like 50,000 times.
Yeah, you would know because you had to keep plugging it back in.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was just very, very restricting. And I feel like if I were to choose between a tethered or untethered device, I would choose untethered. I'd go cordless.
Interesting. So, what I'm referencing is the new holographic devices the new Windows holographic devices that Microsoft is going to be releasing soon, where they've partnered up with Acer and Samsung, or I don't know what companies exactly, but they've partnered up with them to make these sub $500 devices that you can plug into a lower end laptop and it'll still run everything you need, but you get a MR experience. And this kind of MR experience is I can't remember the acronym for it.
But why would I want an MR experience if I could just only stay at my desk? Like, there's no point to that,
That's a good point.
Yeah, for example, Eric, today me and Austin looked over Holo Real Estate. And there's one feature where you can go into a virtual tour. And once you click on this option, the house kind of blows up into this life-size replica of a house. And it was impossible to be able to do that in the office, just because if I wanted to go into the house, a wall was there. So we found out pretty quick that it would be more useful in like a wider open space, like a park or a warehouse or a front or backyard, something like that, And in a situation like that with Holo Real Estate, you could not be tethered to a computer and get the full experience of being able to walk through this holographic house that's literally as large as life.
Interesting. That's a very good point. I didn't think about that, and I think the point of these devices, these sub $500 devices that Microsoft's putting out, is for most developers to be able to have access to it. But that'll be interesting because that'll kind of shift the development experience from more of a like right now, because everybody just uses a HoloLens. If you develop for the HoloLens, you most likely have a HoloLens, unless you're using the emulator, but nobody's doing that. You probably have a HoloLens. So you're thinking in a HoloLens perspective, but with these sub $300 devices that are tethered, you're going to be thinking from a tethered perspective, and it could really have an impact on the type of apps that we see. So do you think this is a good choice for Microsoft to make, to be releasing these devices, or do you think this is dangerous?
Oh, I certainly think it's a great choice. Like you just said, it makes it available for most developers to experience mixed reality and make these awesome intuitive apps that make MR so great and make it readily available for everyone. And just without the tethered headset, that just makes your experience even better. That's pretty much all we're saying.
Interesting. So, yeah, no, because honestly, I didn't even think of that impact when I thought of these devices, because I was really pumped and I just wanted to get one. And so, also a mixed reality experience, the only way we've experienced it so far is through the HoloLens or a glass display, where there's your peripherals are completely open. But these experiences are going to be cut off. So like VR, like wearing a box over your face, and you're seeing a camera perspective of what is in front of you. So how do you guys think that's going to change the experience? We've never simulated it. We've never tried anything like that. So it's going to be completely assuming what it would be like. How do you think that would compare to the experience we have? Alex?
I'm trying to think. There's... Geez, Eric, that's a really good question. I'm not sure.
Because with the way that at least when I have my family, especially older people, try the HoloLens, they're really excited that they can see everything. It doesn't like make them feel cut off. It doesn't make them feel like someone's going to come punch them in the dick. It doesn't make them feel like vertigo or anything like that. Do you think this is going to change that experience? Or I'm just trying to see what the negative impacts of these lower end devices would be, because there's so many positives, but we haven't really taken a look at some of the negative impacts of what they're going to have on the experience.
One negative that's very prevalent with a lot of VR devices is the virtual reality sickness. And I'm wondering with these other devices that they're just kind of trying to spit out rapid fire, that would be tethered, maybe would see, something else. Maybe not a sickness, but a problem with the eyes, or just like maybe headaches that come along quickly. I don't know. That could be an issue. It'd be health problems.
Yeah, Alex, like earlier today you were using the HoloLens and you used it for what, like 30 minutes? And then you took it off and you're like, man, my eyes are fried. Like, I don't know, like, is extended HoloLens use like dangerous to your eyes? Is it?
Well, I think we're not talking about HoloLens. I think we're talking about more, or do you mean just for HoloLens?
Well, like, is there gonna be like certain health risks in the future with all these devices coming out without it?
Yeah, I'm talking, MR technology as a whole, because I remember when the 3DS first came out, there was a warning. Like, as your little 3DS booted up, it's like, do not use for extended periods of time, because like this kind of problem and this kind of problem have been known to happen. Just like they had to warn people before they were able to play.
They also warn you before you watch TV and play video games, saying, watch out, this may give you a seizure. But yeah, how many people do you guys know that have got a seizure from playing a video game?
Well, it's obviously happened if they have to put it there. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's going to happen. I don't notice really much eye fatigue. I think if I notice eye fatigue with the HoloLens, it's more due to the pressure of it on my head rather than to the actual fatigue of looking at it. I mean, I stare at a computer screen for about 12 to 13, 14 hours a day, and so I know eye fatigue pretty well. And I think as far as it goes, I don't think I stare at a 24-inch monitor all day, a couple of them, and I can't see HoloLens being any worse than that or that device. But maybe like a consolidated VR experience.
I saw a funny meme where it said, like, back in the day, your mom yelled at you for looking too close at the TV, and nowadays, and it's some guy with a virtual reality headset on, and it's like right in his face.
Like 4 inches away from your eyes right there. It's interesting.
Yeah, literally right there.
Yeah. I don't know.
So yeah, no, you're totally right. It'll just be interesting. We want to get one. We want to try it because we've never experienced anything like that. I think it'll be really cool to see like how that transitions to development and more people being able to get ready to the development experience. I hope not a lot of people demo on that device. I would always prefer that someone would try it for the first time on a HoloLens to get the full experience. But I mean, if that's the only way that someone's going to get the experience, more power to it. Paul just came in and he said, well, the thing is that the light isn't that intense in your eyes from a HoloLens, especially compared to a 4K screen a couple inches from your face, i.e. VR. So, I mean, there's a lot more light, there's a lot more pixels, there's a lot more everything just kind of for your eye to focus on and to give you eye strain. It's pretty interesting. But this market's always fun to talk about, like the new devices that are coming out, and we haven't really seen anything compared to the HoloLens besides the Meta, but this is a completely different realm, and pros and cons to both sides of it existing. But yeah. So, what else? Let's hit one more article. Do we have anything else? Oh, we could talk about the... what was that thing Paul posted on Plex? Excuse me. About Fortune... The Fortune...
Forbes?
Thing. Forbes, thank you. Can you go ahead and read that for us?
I'm trying to find it.
So also we'll post this in the chats for you guys or the linked up. I think Forbes did an article about mixed reality. I didn't see it. I don't want to talk about it too much. Anybody have it up and ready?
It's not letting me get in because of the ad blocker.
Disable your ad blocker quick. Speaking of ad blocker, we'll talk more about this in a different podcast probably, but we just had a interview with a person writing a thesis about marketing in mixed reality, or holographic marketing, I think is the term that he coined. And it was a really interesting discussion that we had about the future of marketing and holograms, or mixed reality and marketing specifically, because that's more of our realm that we're in. But this fella talked to the people at Google Tango and got to see their inputs on the ideas of it, and he talked to us a little bit and to see what we thought about the HoloLens and the mixed reality sphere of things, and it was really interesting. And hopefully we'll be having him on the podcast soon to talk about mixed reality marketing. We also have someone else that also is into mixed reality marketing that would like to be on the podcast. So hopefully we'll have him on soon. And if you're out there and you would like to be on the podcast and you think you have something to contribute, go ahead and hit us up at Twitter and let us know, and at the Holo Herald, or leave a comment right now and we'll get in contact with you guys if you have anything to, if you have any input that's worth our time or anybody's time. You go ahead, you get it? We're getting there. We're getting there. So, Alex, what do you think? Future of advertising in mixed reality. Good thing, bad thing? It's going to ruin mixed reality, or it's going to make it better? Simple question.
Make it better. There, I said it. As much as I hate to admit it.
Whoa, what's your reasoning? Why make it better? Everybody's terrified. Ever since anybody's seen Hyper Reality, the short, everybody's crapping their pants trying to think about it.
Yeah, well, I say make it better, but that's kind of only if somebody, be it like Microsoft, if it's through the HoloLens, kind of puts a harness on it. Because if it's like super in your face, it's going to be a turnoff for everybody. However, I feel like a mixed reality ad, I don't know, it would be super cool. Because, for example, like on YouTube, like if I find an ad before a video I'm watching, if I find it interesting, I'll stick around and I'll watch it. And sometimes I'll even click on, just like it works for me at least. So if there is a 3D, I don't know, small hologram somewhere off to the side of my field of view, if it's worth looking at, if it's interesting, if it's tailored to what I like, I could see a lot of success coming from it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, yeah, totally. I totally think like targeted marketing and like acceptable marketing. You know, kind of like YouTube's a good example, but you got YouTube kind of gets in the way sometimes when it's like a 15-second ad and you can't click it and you just want to watch a 1-minute video, you know? So I think you're exactly right. As long as like Microsoft goes and they get a harness on it and they make some quick rules like, hey, no putting holograms across people's houses. I mean, no putting ads across people's houses. No making people sit through your crap to be able to experience this. Because whereas a phone or YouTube, you know, YouTube's just like you're watching a video, you know, to watch that video, you have to do this. Or like on your phone, it's an app. To use this app, you know, to play this game, you have to see a little ad at the bottom. Or every time you die on Flappy Bird, you have to watch an ad or something like that. But with the HoloLens and mixed reality, I mean, it's like your everyday. It's like in your space, you know, just to walk around, you know, turn a corner. Do you want to have to see an ad every corner you turn? Or what do you think the future of that is, Alex?
You know, obviously that's a very good point. Like you said, just like mixed reality, like an ad would be in your world, in your space, in your bedroom. So, you know, they obviously have to be very careful with what they put, you know. But, yeah, just like, I mean, sometimes just like, imagine like, there's like a bad preview for like an R-rated movie and like your 6-year-old kid is, you know, watching this, you know, in his room, like while he's trying to play his, you know, fragments.
Yeah, no, he's literally like trying to put a pet dog, like, you know, there's gonna be an app where you take care of a dog, obviously, and he's playing with his dog, and like a Saw 16 ad comes up and starts playing, yeah, where it's like chasing the kid around the room, because that'd be pretty cool, like interactive advertisements where it's like, I don't know, all of a sudden you're like running from a guy, or I don't know. There's so many options for marketing and mixed reality. But this little kid's getting chased around by like a Saw character or something. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, that would ruin him for life.
And to not turn him into a hard warrior.
Yeah, Jigsaw on his trike, you know, chasing you around your room while you're 7 years old, running and screaming, "Want to play a game?" You know, that would. I would never use HoloLens
The next Saw is like an MR experience, and that's like how they do it. That's how they advertise it, is you actually get in there, and that'd actually be a cool app. Like you're trying to escape from like Jigsaw's puzzles and stuff like that. And oh man, the future's super exciting. Kind of scary though. I mean, that would be interesting. Do you think parents are going to be more likely, because like it's interesting to see, like, parents didn't want their kids watching TV. You know, it's like TV's gonna rot your brain. You always remember being told that as a kid, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And then video games came along, and everybody's like, "Oh, you got to get back to the real world, man. You're stuck in this video game. You're addicted to video games." But yet, video games are like the biggest form of entertainment. You ever get told that when you were a kid, right? Mm-hmm. Like you have to limit your video game time. And then VR comes along, and you don't see many kids that get VR, but like you could see the lashback of kids running around with just VR headsets and be like, "Come on, come back to the real world." You know what I mean? Don't you think?
Yeah, because at least with video games or with TV, you still have an entire world around you, a tangible real world where people can interact, you know, and it's not that hard to say, you know, hey, snap out of it. But with virtual reality, like it literally takes you somewhere else. It closes your whole face and channels it into you know, whatever you're doing,
that
be
world.
A video game. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so you're entering a whole world. What do you think people's reaction or parents' reaction to MR is going to be? Because it's kind of this weird conglomerate of both. You know, it's like, hey, you've been spending too much time with that MR headset on. Take it off and go outside. Or what do you think?
You know, one problem that I could see with like, say, parents, like, worried about what their kids are doing, like, for example, they should be studying, you know, but, you know, they're using their MR headset to study, you know, theoretically, but in reality, they're watching YouTube or they're on Netflix or something. And the parents have no idea.
The old, it's like the new version of the old Playboy, like you're at a library and you have your book, but in reality you have like a Playboy magazine on the other side or a comic book or something like that. You know, they always do that in the movies. This is like the modern day version of that.
Yeah, exactly.
So like I ask you because you have like a little sister. How? Well, I don't know if she is your sister's younger than like 15, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah, she's 11.
She's 11. So she's kind of right around that age where that's like probably an age where it'd be hitting it hard in school with this kind of device and like for homework and stuff. Like, what are your apprehensions to giving a mixed reality device to your 11-year-old sister?
Outright apprehensions? Like, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm sure it's definitely a distraction thing. Actually, in her little class, she did a presentation about how textbooks should be done away with and how they should all be like gone digital and should be provided on iPads or computers. So like this, there could actually be a use for the HoloLens in this sense, where they could put the textbook on the HoloLens and be able to look at it that way. But you know, when you're 12 years old and have a HoloLens, you're not going to want to read it. You're not going to want to read a textbook. And so, you know, obviously an attention deficit would be very detrimental, I feel like. Because like I'm 21 years old and I can relate. I'm not going to want to read a textbook. I'm going to want to, I don't know, test the limits, play Robo Raid or something like that, you know?
Exactly. I know, I totally see. So what about, okay, so that's like for education. What about like for home use? Like, does your sister play a lot of video games or spend a lot of time on the iPad or anything like that?
A little bit, but mostly to watch videos.
Yeah, she seems like she's pretty good. She's not like a kid that would be addicted to anything or anything like that. So for just like letting her use it at home, you don't see any apprehensions. Like, what would you be more likely if she was staring at like a TV for hours, or if she just had a HoloLens on for hours? It's I don't know. It's a weird like psychology thing. You know what I mean? Like you see the TV, you see like that they're watching SpongeBob or whatever. You kind of be like, hey, get your head out of that crap. But with a HoloLens, it's like you kind of don't really get that perspective. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. You hit the nail right on the head. Just like a TV's easier to regulate, or an iPad's easier to regulate. Because you can just walk by and see, oh, they're staying on task. But you know, with a HoloLens or with a MR device, so to speak, I would have to take it off and put it on my head. Say, oh, you're still doing what you said you were. Take it
or
off
make sure it's always linked to yours. Like, you know how you can do like the doubles. Make sure you can always see the holograms that they're looking at. Just be like, no, that. And like you tell your kid to go outside, it's like, go outside. And now kids today, they'll like try to sneak the iPad outside, or maybe they'll just go outside. But, you know, they'll be running around the yard and jumping around and fighting like dragons and stuff. I don't know. It's such a cool future for kids, and like a cool time to grow up where it's like your imagination can really be put to life in your reality. I don't know. It's cool. I look forward to it. That'd be a cool time to grow up with mixed reality. Austin, did you locate that article?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, that was not the most confident yes, but let's hit
so
us.
This is from Forbes, and the article is titled, "So meet the mixed reality makers that are the future of YouTube influencers."
Okay.
So it kind of goes and explains like it does not define mixed reality correctly.
So this is our first example of what's it called? Discrepancy. A discrepancy between and differing opinions between definitions. Ooh, we've seen this coming for many months, and it's starting to hit kind of. Okay,
so this is what they said mixed reality is, and mixed reality is when virtual reality gameplay footage is superimposed over video or a VR headset wearing player, making a composite video that actually displays just what they're seeing, and making it far more fun for people to watch.
Wow, that's what a train wreck that was. Okay, I'm gonna read it one more time just because that's a really confusing sentence. Like, even reading it, I've read this like 5 times, and I still don't get what it means. Okay, we're gonna read this one more time for you guys. This article is on Forbes. If you just search "Meet the mixed reality makers that are the future of YouTube influencers," you could probably pull it up and find the link. Anyways, mixed reality is when virtual reality gameplay footage is. Okay, so I gotta read this really slow because there's a lot of words, and it's funny, they're trying to describe something using the definition of the thing there. It's really complicated. Okay, mixed reality is when virtual reality gameplay footage is superimposed over video of a VR headset wearing player. Okay, so just right there, that's already really confusing. I have no idea what's going on, and I'm already in the scene.
So what they're trying to say is the whatever hologram is placed over the VR, the person wearing the VR headset.
You're still losing me. You're still losing me. This is so complicated.
What is this definition?
This doesn't make any sense. Making a composite video that accurately displays just what they're seeing and making it far more fun.
So are they saying like they're live streaming? Like, no.
I'm gonna assume here's what they're saying. I'm just gonna assume what they're saying is that like you have a camera, and you have the camera is what you're seeing. So imagine holding your camera up really close to your face while it's on, and you look around. Okay, that's what you're seeing. And then they're taking images and they're overlaying it over that camera setting. There's an actual term for it, and I'm blanking on what it is right now. It's like hologram over. Oh my god, I can't remember what it's called. Too bad. I'll figure out what it's called sometime soon. But it's basically what the new devices are. I'm assuming that's what they're saying. Is that? Am I correct? Alex, what do you get from that? You've been listening.
Yeah, that's kind of how I'm translating it. Like how I take it is, thinking back to like, and I know this is a touchy subject, Eric, but the Magic Leap's homepage, like you have like all those kids sitting in that gym, and the whale jumps out and splashes, and they're like, "Whoa!" They don't have devices on, they can't see that, but they're reacting to it. So I think. Yet, me as a user watching this video, I can see this whale coming out. So I feel like maybe that's what they think is mixed reality. Also, for example, when we see some of these other like videos that are promoting applications, like a developer has this, and like it shows the person wearing the HoloLens, right? It's a shot of them standing in front of the camera. However, even without a HoloLens, you can see what they're doing. And just like kind of having that overlap, like you explained, Eric. I feel like that's what they see as mixed reality.
Yeah, I'm blanking on the term for that. There's an actual term for that. I can't remember what it is.
I love how the article before that definition says at its most basic level, mixed reality is when virtual reality gameplay footage is superimposed. At its most basic level.
That does. Oh my god, its most basic is really freaking confusing. So Paul came in. He's on the chat. He said this is infuriating. He says it is superimposing the person over the gameplay, like putting them in the game. What? I mean, I'm confused. We've run into this on our YouTube channel where we say something like one of our most disliked videos is where we try to say our definitions of what mixed reality is, and the backlash for that video was intense, and everybody has their different definition. I think this kind of just this is kind of like a conglomerate. We're doing the same thing. Like these people have this definition of mixed reality, and I guess since there isn't a set definition, theirs is as right as ours, I guess that's the kind of the terms we sadly have to come with, even though they're definitely wrong, and we all know they're wrong. Theoretically, they're as right as ours, because what do we have to prove them wrong besides, Wikipedia articles and random stuff? There's no Webster's dictionary definition of it yet or anything. So it looks like they also have a video that I'm going to go ahead and I'll play. Sorry, this is going to wreck the audio. I'm going to play this on the stream real quick. Hold on for just a second. Okay, so Paul just posted a great link. Go ahead and throw that up in the normal chat, Paul. So there's if you search Serious Sam VR The Last Hope. Oh man, I don't know how people are going to find this. I don't even know how you found that, Paul. That's insane. Is that part of the article? Oh man, I don't even know where Paul found that article. Okay, well he just found an article where he's right. So it's like, I don't even know how to explain this. Okay, so imagine you're playing Halo, and the character in front of you is Austin, and it's not Master Chief. That's basically what's going on, and that's basically what they're saying mixed reality is, when you're superimposing yourself inside of the video game, and that is mixed reality, which is a joke. Okay, it's part of that article. Paul found it as part of that article, which is a joke, and I don't know. This is kind of the scary. I don't know. And how come we are not? I don't even understand what's going on. This article's crazy. Check it out. That was crazy. What do you guys think about how crazy this article is?
It's crazy. I don't like it.
Yep,
you don't like
agree.
It wasn't written very well.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But this is Forbes. This is a pretty big name. I mean, there's the three of us talking about, MR, AR, and VR, and people just yell at us, and we like, oh, well, sorry. But Forbes, I mean, they're a big deal. They're obviously a huge brand, and for Forbes to come out and say something like this, that's kind of an issue that, a company like this doesn't understand 100%, or, the person who wrote this, for that matter, doesn't fully understand the concept of MR.
Or what they're talking about. I guess we see this in all forms of media, but this one just kind of happens to hit home for us.
Fake news.
I was so about to say that, Austin. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I see where he found that article. Yeah, it's if you go to page 2. Which, why the heck do I have to see the freaking quote again when I'm going to page 2? What the heck? This Forbes. Ugh. What is this? Is a long article. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Too long. Didn't read.
Yeah, too long. Yeah. I mean, I probably should have read this, but anyways, I think the article's talking about them doing. I think the summary of the article, Paul, you could tell me if I'm wrong, but it's an article about how there's YouTubers that make VR content, and we want to make VR content, maybe not gaming content, but we would like to make some VR content. And basically every gaming YouTuber makes VR content now. And I don't know why this is any different than normal gaming content. It looks like they're just like green screening themselves into the, okay. I understand what's going on. We're going to cut out everything that's been said before. So I read the article, and by read I mean I looked at the pictures, and I think I understand what's going on. This lady came on, and she watched YouTube for probably 10 minutes, and she searched virtual reality, and what came up is these gamers, which all the cool gamers do VR stuff. It's fun to watch. It's cool. It's new. It's new content. They're gonna do it. And what a lot of the gamers do to make it more interesting is they green screen themselves and they put themselves inside of the game, so it looks like
and that's what
they're the ones playing the games. That is what she is saying what mixed reality is.
No.
Yeah, is Alex, is that what you're getting out of this now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of doing the same thing, just kind of flipping through the pictures and picking up words here and there, but that's kind of what it looks like.
And it says there's like an app that can superimpose you over it, and then that's what they're saying. Interesting.
So it's not mixed reality, but it is kind of cool. Like
it is cool. It's cool that these guys are doing this, and it's cool technology to be able to superimpose yourself. But I mean, that's like as far away from mixed reality as you can get. That's editing. Isn't that what that is?
Yeah,
it's editing. You edited yourself into the game. You know, it's interesting. But the moral of the story is there needs to be some concrete definition of these words. You know, we have virtual reality. You can go on Webster's Dictionary. You can look up what virtual reality. It's been around since like the 50s, I think. You know, it's virtual reality's been the idea of it's been around for a long, long time. And augmented reality, it's also been around for a long time. We have it. But this new pseudo mixed reality still does not have a hardcore definition. Even the semi-set definitions were only made like a year ago, if that, a couple years ago. So there's still room for leeway. And it's time to have like a set term. Like, I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's Microsoft or Webster or who it is, but we need a term. Like, even if it's this, even if we've been saying wrong the whole time, it's time to have a set term, because people get mad at us all the time for saying mixed reality and stuff like that. Interesting.
Yep.
Well, Alex, what's your definition of mixed reality? We're going to end on that note. Tell us what mixed reality really is.
That's probably a really bad idea.
No, go ahead. This is going to enunciate my point. Hit it.
Wait, I'm sorry.
This is Alex. Alex is hitting it. You do, dude.
Okay, mixed reality is when realities get mixed. When, no, I'm totally kidding. So I'm just gonna I'm gonna do my best here at this. I feel like, well, I'm gonna talk about the HoloLens mostly because that's pretty much as far as my expertise goes. But the HoloLens takes the world around you, and with technology, it kind of uses its holograms and manipulates the holograms around your location. For example, if I want to place a hologram, I can't place it through a wall. If the hologram knows that wall is there, it'll be impossible for me to place it through the wall or through the ceiling or be able to place it through a table. I can place it on top of a table or around a chair. So I feel like that's what mixed reality is. Just like it takes in your surroundings and what's the word I'm trying to use? And
it puts virtual objects inside of your surroundings. Here we go. That's these.
What I say is Star Wars. That's... the little hologram.
Eric, why didn't you have Austin do this?
I regret everything. What the heck? I should have had him do it. Yeah, Star Wars, so mixed reality. Painful. You're gonna open up Webster's Dictionary and you're gonna look at mixed reality and it's gonna say Star Wars.
Exactly. No.
Yes, exactly, Austin.
When they pull a hologram out of R2D2 and it's, I need help. Like, that's mixed reality right there.
That's a misquote, Austin.
I know. Sorry, Star Wars fans.
Okay. Austin's getting there. Okay, here's the definition that I've decided on. Very simple. It fits in with VR. It fits in with AR. It makes sense. Virtual reality, putting yourself inside of a augmented virtual experience. It's a 3D rendering. And you are inside of the 3D rendering world. Boom. You're not in your outside world. Augmented reality. Taking 3D renderings and layering them over your vision. Easy. Okay. Now here's mixed reality. Mixed reality is a combination of the two. We're going to go ahead and we're going to take 3D renderings and we're going to put them in your surroundings. Like Alex said, Alex was trying to say it. He said, you can't go through your wall. You're putting it on a table. It's in your surroundings. You walk around it as if it was a normal object, as if it was a water bottle, as if it was a chair. That is what it is. And it is nothing less and it is nothing more. Time to end that argument.
It's done.
Eric, what do you mean I was trying to say it? I obviously said it. It just took me 5 minutes to say something that...
No, you were perfect. I was building off of what he was saying.
Mine was not right. But it was.
No, I love it. So... I guess what we've learned, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. We went a little long than normal, but we're going to wrap this podcast up. What we've learned today is Magic Leap is crap, and I was going to get flack for that one, but nobody listens this long anyway, so we can say whatever we want at this point. If you made it this long, leave a comment saying mixed reality is Star Wars, and then we'll know that you're a true fan, and we'll send you something awesome. No guarantee that we're going to send you something awesome.
But message anyway.
But message anyway. Let's see, what else? We learned that there's new devices coming, and those devices are going to be very interesting to see how they have their impact. And we also learned that the definition of mixed reality is Star Wars. Simple as that. Okay, this has been Eric, Alex, and Austin with the Holo Herald. We appreciate you guys for stopping in. Thank you for stopping in for this live stream, this podcast. This has been episode 9, I think.
9.
We're going to be doing episode 10. Perfect. We'll be doing episode 10 next week. Feel free to join us live. Maybe be doing something special. Maybe we'll do a video one, or I don't know. We'll do something special. 10's a special number. If you guys have thought anything special about this podcast, go ahead and leave it on Twitter at the Holo Herald, on Instagram at the Holo Herald, or in the comments below. Go ahead and share our videos. We love it when you do that. We've noticed a lot more sharing has been happening, and it is helping our channel tremendously, and we really appreciate it. And I think this has been the Holo Herald Podcast. Thank you for listening.